On February 25, 2021, a home security camera captured the following disturbing footage. In the recording, a mother is asleep next to her young daughter, with the girl's doll resting nearby. Without warning, the doll begins moving in an unsettling manner. At that very same instant, the girl, still barely conscious, reaches out and touches the doll, then suddenly snaps awake in a state of panic. See for yourself what unfolds. The moment the doll stirs, the girl's hand lands on it, and she jolts upright in terror. Almost immediately after, the mother wakes up as well. The mother later stated that her daughter had always had a close attachment to the doll, playing with it regularly and even holding conversations with it. But watching it move on its own in the footage transformed her unease into full-blown conviction that something dark had taken hold of it. She was visibly disturbed. The mother then goes on to describe an incident from 2 nights prior, when her daughter had been sleeping in the study with that very same doll and suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream. Here's what the camera recorded that evening. When the mother burst into the room after hearing the screaming, she found her daughter underneath the bed with nobody else present. The girl insisted she had heard a friend's voice whispering from below the bed, which was why she climbed down to investigate. But if you watch the recording closely, something far more chilling becomes apparent. The girl initially crawls under the bed on her own, yet seconds later, she appears to be dragged even further beneath it, and that's precisely when the screaming begins. So is there truly a spirit bound to that doll, or could something far darker and more sinister be responsible? I'd love to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't a group of restaurant workers believe their workplace is haunted? An employee named Cameron says that he and his colleagues first started noticing unusual activity several months ago. He claims that objects throughout the restaurant frequently move on their own, and some staff members have even reported seeing mysterious faces lurking in the shadows. Then one day, while Cameron is reviewing the restaurant's security footage, he spots something unusual on a camera pointed at the empty storage room. Shaken by what he sees, he calls his co-workers over to witness it themselves. Here's exactly what the security camera recorded.
Look at that. Oh, what? Right there. No, wait, it gets better. It gets better. That's not it. It gets better. Look up here.
What is that?
Right there.
Oh!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Remember the bar this morning, Susie?
Yes.
I showed you that demon rabbit from hell? Now wait, look. Is that a face right there, guys? No, look. Oh my God! It just moved. It just moved.
It literally.
Watch it. Put your eyes on it. See? See? I told you.
Dude, that's scary.
I know, right?
Really going.
I think it's pretty cool.
A door swings wide open on its own, and then a bottle of oil drops from a shelf, as though some invisible force gave it a push. But the strangest part isn't even that. Shortly afterward, what appears to be a face becomes visible in the reflection on the fridge door. It even seems to shift, as if turning to look directly at the camera, before disappearing entirely. And this wasn't the only unsettling footage that restaurant security system managed to capture. A few months earlier, a camera in the kitchen was still rolling near closing time when something unexpected unfolded. The footage shows what appears to be an invisible hand making contact with an employee's shoulder. He flinches immediately and rushes out of the kitchen. The worker later said he had been experiencing an overwhelming feeling of dread throughout his entire shift and had grown convinced that something supernatural had been trailing him all evening. These two incidents caught on security cameras left the restaurant staff with very little reason to doubt that something was haunting their workplace. And if that still wasn't enough, another employee managed to record something that left everyone deeply unsettled. It was late at night, and this particular worker was alone in the kitchen, wrapping up after a long shift, when he caught something in his peripheral vision and quickly grabbed his phone.
Bro, am I tripping? What is that? Nah, man. Nah, bro, what the f?
The employee's attention is fixed on a reflection in the fridge door. He appears to believe he can make out some kind of figure there, though a lot of viewers have since argued it's simply a case of pareidolia. What truly frightened him, however, was what came next. A locker door directly above his head suddenly burst open with force, missing him by just a few inches. Thankfully, he walked away unharmed, but the encounter left him completely rattled. Many viewers aren't so quick to dismiss the reflection as a trick of the mind, though. Several people have pointed out that he may have glimpsed something alarming just before he hit record, and that whatever it was may have deliberately drawn him closer. Creepy stuff. On August 27th, 2024, a store manager was going through security footage when he came across something deeply disturbing. Something that had happened while he was in the middle of unpacking boxes. Shaken, he made sure to save the clip, knowing full well that people might not take him seriously. Judge for yourself what he recorded.
He's putting things away from the box. All right, now watch. I want you guys to focus on this area right here. Okay? Hold on, let me speed this up a bit. All right, watch.
If you have the doctrine right and you stow it on a shelf in your closet and do not pull that doctrine out.
Boom, you see that? Get back here for you guys to give you a better view. Look at that. And I'm just like tripping, like what just happened? At first I didn't know what the hell it was, but once you see that there's a box on the ground, I'm like, okay, weird. And now I'm going to look, to see what's going on. It fell, okay, but pay attention to this area right here. Watch. Is that you? Look, I'm here by myself. Nobody's here. It's just me. See that? Come out!
Determined to get to the bottom of whatever was going on, the manager moved through the store, searching for any rational explanation he could find. But what the cameras had actually picked up was far more chilling than anything he had prepared himself for, something that would leave him genuinely rattled.
Threw down the box earlier? Come on out! You don't scare me. Come on out. He's trying to mess with me. see that? You see that? Nah. Nah.
The camera positioned at the side entrance caught a truly disturbing moment. His hair was suddenly pulled upward by a force that wasn't visible on screen. Overcome with panic, he bolted, assuming someone was standing right behind him. The footage, however, told a different story. The area was completely empty. Some viewers believe this could be the very ghost he had been provoking with his call-outs, while others aren't so certain. The manager himself has no doubts. He's convinced it's the same presence responsible for all the strange goings-on throughout the store. So what's your take? Was this an actual ghost caught in the act, or could there be another explanation altogether? That's for you to decide. After an exhausting shift, a guy named Nolan returned home and crashed on his couch. He was out cold, sleeping without a care, when a faint noise somewhere in the house snapped him awake, a shadow shifting in the dark. He was completely alone. Lucky for us, his security cameras caught every moment of what unfolded. As he lay there motionless, the door directly behind him began to slowly swing open on its own. He shot upright immediately, eyes fixed on the doorway, bracing for someone to step through, but nobody came. A couple of minutes passed. He settled back down and dozed off again, and then out of nowhere, a thunderous bang from that same door launched him straight off the couch. Visibly shaken, he scrambled to his feet and stood there staring at it. His mind was clearly racing, searching desperately for some kind of rational answer. But if you ask me, it really does feel like something otherworldly just paid him a visit. What seemed at first like a completely routine late-night stroll through a hospital corridor quickly became something far more unsettling. A nurse making his way to the lab at around 3 in the morning decided to pull out his phone and film a particular hallway that had always given him an uneasy feeling. The passage looked totally deserted, but as he kept moving forward, the overhead lights suddenly started to flicker. That's when things took a turn. See what the camera captured.
Labs just across the hospital. We have this really creepy, hallway. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, it's 3 a.m. Just walking down this hallway. I mean, it's clean and stuff. It's just odd, I guess. I mean, but yeah, this always takes so much time. It's really annoying. Big part of my shift. Oh, okay. Oh, nope. Okay. Don't know what's happening. Do you guys hear this? What the fuck? What? I think I should stop it. Okay, got it. Weird. I do not remember that being there.
A peculiar noise emerged from somewhere behind him. Before he even had a chance to process what was going on, a medical cart slowly crept out into the hallway and began drifting in his direction. What made it all the more eerie was that the cart hadn't been visible anywhere when he first stepped into that corridor. He stopped dead in his tracks and scanned the area, but there wasn't another soul in sight. To this day, nobody has been able to explain what caused that cart to move. A woman by the name of Shelley came into possession of a collectible occult necklace, originally belonging to Aleister Crowley at an estate sale in 2012, and was also battling addiction around that same period. From that point on, bizarre and inexplicable incidents have shadowed her at every turn, and just recently, On June 5th, 2020, things began escalating once more. While Shelley was occupied washing dishes, she picked up on strange sounds coming from further down the hallway, so she propped her phone up to record what was happening, and what it caught is genuinely unsettling.
Okay, I'm so crazy, right? Here you go. Baby's terrified. Hold on. I know. You're okay. You're okay. I know.
First comes a knocking sound, then the door at the far end of the hall begins swinging open and shut on its own, repeatedly. The footage itself warps and jolts without any explanation, and then her dog, visibly terrified, tucks its tail and bolts from the room whimpering. Shelley is deeply concerned, as her pet appears to become noticeably distressed and frightened whenever these episodes occur. She's convinced that something has latched onto her and has been trailing her no matter where she goes. Just after 11 at night, a backyard surveillance camera recorded an eerily still lawn, swallowed up by darkness. Reddit user Brown Plague says a friend forwarded him the footage the next morning with a deeply unsettling question attached. If he showed him something that genuinely frightened him, would he be honest about what he saw? The yard looks completely empty at first glance, but then something otherworldly starts making laps around the house. Strange figures strobe in and out of the darkness repeatedly. The first looks like a translucent, stretched-out form drifting through the black. What follows includes luminous orbs, formless blobs, and coiling ribbon-like shapes. In the closing moments, the figure twists into a writhing, worm-like silhouette, as though whatever this is keeps reshaping itself with each pass it makes. As nightmarish as it looks, camera analysts offer a far less supernatural take. A bug or a loose strand of spider silk drifting just inches in front of an infrared lens can go wildly out of focus, smearing its motion into glowing rods and wriggling streaks across the frame. Probably just a trick of the optics, yet the warped infrared image produces a genuinely chilling impression of something shapeless and alive, prowling through the dark. So was this nothing more than a stray insect too close to the lens? or something altogether stranger moving through the night? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Really Haunted is a paranormal investigation channel run by a UK couple named Lee and Stacey, who have been exploring the supernatural together for over 7 years. What sets them apart, though, is that the case they return to most often isn't some abandoned building or a stranger's home, it's their own. They describe the activity inside their house as severe enough to put their family through genuine terror, and most people facing that would pack up and leave. Lee and Stacey did the exact opposite. They dug in and they wired the entire house with security cameras so that nothing, whatever it is, can happen off the record. One evening, their CCTV system captured a sequence of events, all unfolding in a single room.
Hey Jungle Friend, get ready to play some sports. Choose a mode to begin. Can you press the button? Let's play and learn.
It kicks off with sound. One of their kids' toys suddenly powers on by itself. And we're going to be upfront with you right from the start, because we weren't able to track down the specific model of that toy, which means we can't rule out the possibility that it's remote controlled. A lot of children's toys are, so that one lands in the uncertain column. Next, a ball sitting on the floor shifts, only a little, just a brief roll, with no one anywhere close to it. After that, a plastic toy truck begins making its way across the floor in the direction of the musical toy. We pushed the zoom on that footage as far as it would go, but the image breaks down into grain, and we genuinely cannot confirm there's no string attached, so that one stays in the maybe pile too. Then the ball moves again, but this time with purpose, rolling all the way across the room toward the curtains, and that's where we get stuck. A toy can be triggered remotely, and a truck can be tugged along with a thin thread. But a ball will only travel in the direction it's being pulled, and a string can do nothing but draw something closer. To send a ball rolling away from you across an open floor, something has to be behind it pushing. We've applied more scrutiny to this segment than we usually would, and there's a deliberate reason for that. Lee and Stacey have been running this channel and documenting this one house for 7 years. When someone commits that kind of time to a single location, we think that warrants sharper examination, not more lenient. And even after putting it through all of that, the ball still has no explanation we can offer. So, what do you think? On December 6th, Marissa recorded something deeply disturbing after rushing back home late at night. She and her girlfriend had only moved into a townhouse in Baldwinsville, New York, a few weeks prior, and already the place had begun showing signs that something wasn't right. That particular evening, Marissa and her girlfriend had gone out for dinner, leaving her sister behind alone in the house. Sitting in the silence, her sister was passing the time on her phone when something absolutely terrifying unfolded.
What? Stop! Relax!
Kid upstairs, I'm not joking.
What do you mean?
I was down there with them. You can see that camera. There's like, I heard it twice.
Heard what?
I kept laughing.
Okay, relax.
I literally looked back, I ignored it, then it happened again, and then I got up and started freaking out. You can see that camera.
Okay, relax.
No,
I just left them here at the store.
No, there's a kid upstairs laughing. That's why I asked him why it's there.
Oh my god, dude. Upstairs?
Yes, it sounded just like a kid, like a high-pitched voice. Twice. You literally see me look at the thing twice. And I thought it was TV, but it wasn't.
Why it's not here? Oh my, dude, I just rushed and left them there.
In a panic, she immediately rang Marissa and pleaded with her to get back as fast as possible. When Marissa pulled up to the house, she could hear the terror in her sister's voice and instinctively started filming. Nobody caught it at the time, but people watching the footage later pointed out something chilling. What sounds like a child's soft laughter can be faintly heard in the background, right as her sister was reacting. Shaken to her core, Marissa headed upstairs to look around, but came up empty, so she turned her attention to the attic. She rigged her phone to a broomstick and pushed it up through the attic hatch to get a look at what was up there. What the footage revealed left viewers completely stunned.
You good?
Oh, she's gonna move it back.
Oh, shit.
Like this.
Here you go. You gonna grab it? Make sure my phone doesn't drop up there. No one's going to get it. It's a whole other mission to get my phone out, I'm telling you right now. Because I'm not leaving my phone up there. Yeah. Oh, I took upstairs.
I'm just gonna spin it a couple times.
Just spin it around. Just go, try to go as slow as you can. Well, it's either downstairs or upstairs, so I don't. It's gotta be there somewhere.
Oh, what the f? There's like one of the wooden.
What are the one what?
One of the wooden like posts holding the ceiling up. All of them. The ones going across like this at the angle. They're all charred. Burnt.
Like the house?
Like they're charcoal.
Really?
Yeah, just those holding the ceiling up.
Like there was like a fire up there at some point?
Obviously.
Yeah, but everything else is normal. Just these ones right above me going like this. There's a couple of them.
Can you try it?
Black as fuck.
Jesus, Peach.
Yeah, he's looking at the door. Look. He knows.
Yeah, he's been following
He
me.
knows it's
I
up
just
there.
ran all the way up here.
Yeah, he knows it's up there. He's looking up there.
I'm trying to get it.
What is it, Peach? Oh, go see Papa.
It's not Papa.
Don't freak out. It's okay. No.
I'm gonna twist it.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, it's black as fuck. Charcoal.
Look right up there.
Oh.
Charcoal.
It is like
There's a couple of them all the way across.
Wow.
Just the ones holding the ceiling up. Charcoal.
Is my phone falling off the table?
No, no, you're good. What the fuck?
Charcoal.
Those are black. But it's like feathered almost. Like it's weird.
That's literally like it was
Burnt.
burnt.
That's what wood looks like too. It's feathered. It's like
I've never seen anything like that.
It's been Bob Harden.
As the camera slowly sweeps the space, something that looks like a drop of blood comes into view. Then, without warning, a pale and distorted face appears inside a gray box in the attic, only to disappear the moment the camera swings back around. She also spotted what looked like dark burn marks scorched into the attic beams, hinting that the house may have suffered fire damage at some point in the past. When Marissa dug into the property's history, she found that the home dated back to 1886, suggesting a long and largely unknown past. On a separate occasion, Marissa and her girlfriend suddenly erupted into a fierce argument that seemed to come out of nowhere and felt completely out of character for both of them. Not long after, Marissa decided to take a closer look at the basement, and here's what her camera picked up.
So let me show you something. I'm gonna show you the basement that is outside this creepy f***ing house I just moved into. All right. Walking. All right, so that is the basement. Okay? Y'all thought I was going down there right now? No. We did that last night. I don't know why the hell we did that. I'm gonna tell you why we did that. We were so scared we had to figure out what the hell was going on. And I got a video of that. Look how creepy this f***ing basement is.
He goes down there all the time.
I've never seen that.
Why is there a wood piece covering a wood piece in this creepy basement?
Alright, Mom, what do you say with this?
Pull that bottom lever.
Okay. Yeah, that should close it. Or maybe you have to go down toward.
Why the is there a piece of wood covering, like a decent sized piece of wood covering something like that? Like, honestly. And then when you saw in the video, lift up the wood, before that video, when we all went down there, we were jumping on it, super hollow. I'm thinking about pulling that shit up and see what's under there, to be honest. I have to go pick up my niece from school, so I'm about to do a part 4. Let me come back to this and I'll come.
She spotted a wooden plank laid over another large board, raising the possibility that something could be concealed beneath the floor. Stranger still, her phone's auto-caption feature started transcribing voices in several different languages throughout the recording. Marissa and her girlfriend have since come to believe that whatever is inside that house is actively trying to drive a wedge between them. Given everything they've heard and everything that's been caught on camera, they're convinced none of it is coincidental. The real question now is what lies beneath that basement floor and what exactly has been watching them from up in the attic. Until Marissa shares another update, this one stays unsolved. In the video that follows, a woman named Grace is absolutely losing it over something going on upstairs at her grandparents' place.
What's going on here is that, so with the storm going on,
According to Grace, this massive puddle on the floor is the result of a leak coming from the attic above. But the water damage isn't actually what's got her rattled. It's what's inside that attic space that has her worried.
that specific cubby that I showed you guys in the video, that one, it would...
Her father had passed away after sealing it shut, but when 2 repair workers send a specialized camera in to take a peek, what it captures leaves everybody deeply unsettled. Pay close attention here.
Might be a bigger problem, so...
Okay, if you guys open it, let's like...
It turns out Grandpa had hidden away a valuable dollhouse from his personal collection in there, but that apparently wasn't the only thing present, because the moment the camera pans back to a spot that had been completely empty just moments before, something appears that nobody can explain.
Frame back and forth because I think you're able to tell that there's like a little thing that happened.
Whatever it is simply stands motionless for a moment before darting across the frame. If that area was clear before, how do you account for what just showed up? And while that question remains unanswered, there's a second puzzling moment that's just as hard to explain, and it involves this door.
Tell everyone in the video, like, let's say this is the door, right? It goes like...
It swings open gradually, as though something was pushing from behind it. A small draft seems like a pretty unconvincing explanation. And as if those two events weren't strange enough on their own, there's also the matter of where the dollhouse was found. Neither Grace nor her grandmother has any idea why her late grandfather placed it in that space, let alone why he went ahead and sealed the whole thing off.
Grandpa shut it off. It would always be shut off. Like over the years we've just...
You can't help but wonder whether the reason ties back to the strange things happening in there. Did the grandfather already have a sense that something wasn't right with this house? Or was he simply trying to protect a valuable antique by tucking it away somewhere secure? Nobody knows for certain, and the family has no intention of breaking into that space again until they figure out a way to do it without tearing up the wall. Until that day comes, the mystery surrounding this dollhouse isn't going anywhere. As always, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Next on our list, a man is in the middle of renovating his newly purchased home. But as the work progresses, it begins to feel like something already living there isn't exactly welcoming the upgrades.
I'm not going up there. Definitely not going back there. Oh wow, it is really cold right here. What was that?
As he leans in to get a better look at one of the rooms, the dark silhouette of what appears to be a small child materializes without warning, hovering in the corner of the room. Needless to say, he doesn't stick around to find out more.
I don't think it's happy we're here. I'll have that here.
The next clip was captured by a man in the Philippines during a visit to a hospital. He had been waiting on his wife, who was there undergoing treatment, when he found himself completely alone in a vacant hospital ward. He pulled out his phone and began recording the room around him, and that's when he spotted something absolutely chilling. See for yourself.
What?
The ward appeared to be empty, yet when he glanced beneath one of the beds, he could make out what looked like a pair of legs standing on the far side. But the moment he raised his eyes, nobody was there. It was as though the legs existed entirely on their own, with no body attached. Overcome with fear, the man turned and fled the room immediately. So what's your take? How do you explain what he captured on that footage? This next clip was sent in by Troy Lagolt, who shares his home with his family and 3 dogs in a house that was constructed just a decade ago. Because of how recently it was built, Troy never really entertained the idea that the place could be haunted. That belief, however, appears to have been shattered, as something deeply strange was recorded not too long ago. And this isn't the first time something odd has gone on there either. Objects shifting on their own, lights flicking on without anyone touching them. Troy has seen it all, yet nothing from before comes close to what you're about to see. On the morning of November 6th, 2022, at approximately 8:30 a.m., this is what the camera picked up. There isn't a whole lot of context attached to this one, but that almost makes it more unsettling. The one thing Troy does confirm is that the house was completely empty when this occurred. Like pretty much everyone who's watched it, he has absolutely no explanation for what went down. So the question is, what do you think? Are we looking at something paranormal, or is there another explanation entirely? A woman by the name of Aria is recording herself as she makes her way down a hotel corridor. Things look completely normal at first glance, but it doesn't take long before viewers start picking up on something that feels off about the footage. What really gets under your skin is what shows up right at the start of the clip, during the brief moment when Aria swings the camera around behind her. When you slow it down frame by frame, the hallway behind her is completely empty, and yet seconds later, she reacts as if somebody is right there on her heels. Couple makes their home in a deeply remote location, with a sprawling forest stretching across virtually the entire surrounding property. The area feels calm and quiet in daylight hours. But one morning, while the woman was out walking behind the house, something lurking among the trees shattered that sense of peace entirely. First came a sudden rustle in the undergrowth, then a creeping sensation that something, or someone, was standing just beyond the tree line. Rooted in place, unsure whether she was looking at a person or an animal, she pulls out her phone and begins scanning the tree line, trying to pinpoint exactly where it was. And that's when it becomes undeniable. She was not alone out there.
I seen somebody run through these woods just now. I live in a country, not too many people know about this back here, but I'm telling you, I could have sworn I saw somebody. Oh my goodness. Hey, Zach. I could have sworn. See, Zach, there is a man over there. What? I'm not even playing. You need to go check it out. There is somebody over there.
I'll go check.
Hiding by our tree right now. I'm not even. Be careful. I just seen him over there by that tree, Zach. Zach, be careful. I'm not even playing.
Partially concealed behind one of the trees, a figure emerges, revealing only a portion of itself, while appearing to track her every movement. The woman makes no attempt to move toward it. After observing it for a few moments, she heads back inside and puts some distance between herself and the woods. It would be reasonable to assume that was the end of it, but later that very same night, strange sounds begin drifting in from that exact same spot, prompting the couple to head back out together to investigate. And whatever had been lurking there that morning apparently hadn't gone far.
This is day 2, and I'm telling you, there is something in those. Oh my goodness, Zach,
Yeah.
there is something out there, Zach. There is. I'm telling you, you need to go check it out. I don't know what it is. There's something out here. I'm not even playing. Please go and check it out. I'm about to freak. Please.
Checked it out here already now.
Like, oh my gosh, y'all. Like, there's something out here. I'm not even going no closer because I'm so scared.
Nothing out here.
Zach, I'm telling you, there is somebody or something out here. Zach, I'm not even kidding. Go. Look closer.
I'm there! Daddy! Daddy, right there!
Zach,
I don't see him.
there's somebody out here.
The figure shows itself again through the trees, but this time it reacts differently. The moment it senses it's been spotted, it bolts deeper into the forest. The man gives chase in the same direction, hoping to track down whoever might be hiding out there, but he comes up empty, no sign of anyone, and no clear trail indicating where the figure had gone. The way the figure looked, and particularly the unsettling manner in which it moved, led a number of viewers to draw comparisons to the rake, a creature from old internet folklore frequently described as prowling through dense forests and remote locations much like this one. That's not to say there's any real link between the two, and it's entirely possible this was just someone messing with them. But I'd love to hear your take. If you were living somewhere this isolated and spotted the same mysterious figure lurking around your property not once but twice, would you actually have the nerve to walk into that forest and find out what was waiting for you? It was just another busy evening on the road when multiple drivers found themselves staring at something that didn't seem possible. On March 9th, 2018, a video began making the rounds online, appearing to show a woman seated calmly on the rear of a moving vehicle, cruising along Bangkok's Rama 9 highway. The car was said to be traveling at roughly 50 miles per hour, yet the figure sat completely motionless. She had long dark hair, wore shorts and a striped top, and seemed entirely unbothered by the velocity or the wind whipping around her. For the people who witnessed it firsthand, their minds didn't jump to passenger, they went somewhere far darker. Photojournalist Paurit Katkol was one of the people who managed to capture the moment on camera. As he filmed, he reportedly turned to the people beside him and asked one simple question: "Do you see what I see?" What made the image so deeply unsettling was how unnatural the whole thing looked. The woman appeared almost locked in place, sitting perfectly upright with no visible attempt to brace herself. At that kind of speed, even a minor shift from the vehicle should have sent the situation into obvious disarray. Yet the figure didn't move an inch, giving the whole scene the feeling of something that simply shouldn't exist on a public road. As the clip spread across the internet, people scrambled to make sense of it. Some were convinced it depicted a supernatural entity clinging to the car, while others suggested the person may have been positioned in a way that produced a visual trick, or that the true context of the situation was entirely different from what was recorded. This woman made a critical error, one she may never truly recover from. While passing near an old graveyard, she came across a house that looked long deserted. With a smirk stretched across her face, she held up her phone and hit record, then announced boldly that ghosts are nothing more than a fantasy. Brimming with confidence, she walked right through the door without a moment's pause. But what her camera captured next is something that will haunt her for the rest of her life.
Soy muy tenebrosa. No sé si se vaya a caer esto, pero está como todo podrido. Para encender la luz. Ya está la cabaña. No, no tiene luz. Hay como una mesa, ganchitos de ropa y...
In the recording, you can clearly make out what appears to be a head, belonging to someone, or maybe something, slowly peering around a corner. She searched every inch of the place but found no sign of anyone, only a door that swung shut on its own for no apparent reason. And yet, that was just the start of the nightmare. Later, as he was sitting down responding to comments online, a deeply unsettling face materialized in the window directly behind him. Could this entity have actually trailed him all the way back from that desolate house beside the old cemetery? What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. In 2024, a channel called Welcome to the Woods UK uploaded a solo camping video set in a stretch of British forest. Its creator knows more intimately than almost anywhere else on Earth. He has been hunting and working that land since his teenage years, and he is not someone who entertains the idea of supernatural creatures. So when a man with that kind of background tells you he is not out here chasing monsters, that statement actually means something, which is precisely what makes his very first discovery so unsettling. He is doing the rounds on his trail cameras after a run of rough weather when something on the ground brings him to a dead stop.
Once again, if you've tuned in again for me once more, thank you very much. Right, believe me, I have not neglected coming in here. I've been in here quite frequently over the last couple of weekends. I did bivvy bag the other side of the woodland. Took the cameras with me, but nothing really happened, and I didn't really use it as a bushcraft sort of experience. It was more of a camp out and see what happens, and nothing really happened. So hence why you haven't seen any more video of it. We've had one hell of a storm come in here the last couple of days, so I'm just coming in to check the cameras, make sure they're all still okay. We've got no big...
It is a boot print, and it is not one he left himself. It is a big impression, sunk into a corner of the woodland he had no reason to believe anyone else was accessing. Trespassers have been a problem on this land before, so a stranger's footwear alone is not evidence that something sinister is going on. But it is more than enough to make him want surveillance on this spot while he is away from it. So he rigs up a live camera that pushes alerts directly to his phone, giving him a real-time view of that exact location from his living room. And then, bootprint or not, he makes the call to spend the night out there anyway.
That's massive. My BK2 next to it. It's just slightly larger than my BK2. Oh, I want to trip myself out, but that looks like a toe as well. My God. There's another impression up there as well. But this is seriously something worth noting.
Come first light, he has had enough and starts breaking camp. What he does before he walks away tells you everything about the kind of person he is. He is far less concerned about something supernatural than about the possibility that a real human being is out there, somewhere in trouble.
There's definitely someone out there. Fuck's sakes. 2 seconds.
He finds no one, and he heads home convinced that whatever this was, it is over. Then, several nights later, his phone lights up in the small hours. It is the live feed. Keep your eyes on the left side of the frame, right along the tree line. The timestamp reads 4:12 in the morning, well after he had already walked that wood and satisfied himself it was deserted. Even his own interpretation still does not reach for the paranormal. He deployed additional cameras in the days that followed and, by his own admission, never arrived at a clear answer. But that boot print he had almost managed to stop worrying about. It does not feel like nothing anymore. It looks like the first time this individual left a trace, and the camera catching movement at 4:12 looks an awful lot like the night they came back to leave another one. While out riding his motorcycle, a biker by the name of Derek stumbled upon a derelict house perched on top of a hill. Even though the place looked thoroughly dilapidated and unsettling, Derek made the call to step inside and poke around before heading back out on the road.
Please. Holy shit. Oh my god, go on. There's a house in there. There's a bird down there. Who did me? Fuck you. Who did fuck? I do. I fuck my sister. Who did? Okay? I fuck my sister. Pussy. No, an asshole. Make a meal of me and who did? Yes. Okay. Oh my god, that's creepy.
Derek was visibly terrified throughout the whole recording, admitting that the property gave him a deeply uncomfortable feeling right from the start. Covering the walls were bizarre and disturbing messages, some of which were completely incoherent. With every new room he stepped into, that sense of dread kept building, yet he pushed on regardless.
Oh man, this is fucking scary. Dude, this is fucking scary. I need to make sure no one's in here. Like in those bedrooms. Oh my god. Dude. What a fucking house. Oh my gosh. Wow. Dude. This is fucking scary. And look at holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit, this is scary. Dude, this is how horror movies start.
He made his way through the upper floor, carrying that same gnawing unease. But since nothing alarming had occurred yet, he convinced himself there was no real threat lurking inside. Then he discovered the basement.
Dude. Dude, these bedrooms had fucking walkout. Oh my god, the floor feels like it's gonna fucking collapse. Ooh, fucking heebie-jeebies, dude. Dude, that dark room. I kept feeling something was gonna jump out at me. What's down here?
It was completely swallowed in darkness down there, and the walls were covered in more of those unsettling writings. Derek called out into the black, gripped by the feeling that he wasn't alone. He didn't have to wait long for a response.
Hello? Hello? Sleep, go, horse, dog, pig, snake. Fuck a sheep, goat, horse, dog, pig, snake, bird, hermaphrodite. Oh man, this is fucking... Dude, I think I hear somebody. I think I hear something. Oh shit. I'm fucking out. I'm fucking out. Oh shit. I fucking ate asshole right there. I literally ate shit coming down that hall. Oh fuck.
Without warning, something came hurtling straight at him, and Derek bolted out of that house in a full panic. Honestly, can you blame the guy? That place was something else entirely. That is the reality of Reliant, a man living in complete solitude, whose farmland has recently become the backdrop for a series of deeply unsettling incidents. And these aren't simply ghostly visions. The damage is real and physical. Crops torn apart, animals gone without a trace, machinery deliberately tampered with. Then one evening, an odd noise drifting from his shed pulls his focus. Being a cautious and attentive man, he goes to check it out. He's not expecting to find any real answers, yet what he comes face to face with stays him cold, a chilling figure whose outline fits the descriptions commonly tied to greys, the extraterrestrial category most frequently cited by UFO researchers. The fact that this encounter unfolds in such a remote, rural setting and only deepens the age-old connection people draw between isolated farmland and close encounters of the third kind. The following clips were recorded by the same woman over what appears to be a string of increasingly unsettling days at her home, a place that on the surface looks completely ordinary, but where something seems to have made itself comfortable. It starts simply enough. She's outside in her backyard on an overcast autumn day, walking through the dry leaves, filming a dead tree that caught her eye, gnarled, full of dark holes, a little out of place among the others. She says she doesn't know what the metal bracket bolted to the trunk is for. She's curious, unbothered, almost cheerful, but as she crouches near the base of that tree, among the red leaves and the fallen branches, something catches her attention. Watch.
So I have a bunch of trees in my backyard, but there's this one that doesn't look like the other trees. So I'm gonna go check that one out because it has pretty red leaves or flowers next to it, and it's interesting. I'm wearing my work boots, so in case my dog runs off, I'm not chasing after her barefoot. So here's the tree. It's dead, but it's very pretty. And there's these weird things that are in it. I don't know what that's for. And it has crazy holes that I like. But here's the pretty red things. Flowers. No, they're leaves. Those are leaves. Oh. I like you. What is that?
She reaches down and lifts a clean white animal skull from the leaves. Empty eye sockets, prominent canines, not decomposing, just sitting there like it had been placed. A clean skull lying at the base of a dead tree isn't automatically sinister, and she doesn't treat it that way. But for viewers who've seen what comes next in her footage, many believe it fits a pattern. Some think it's nothing more than a fox or raccoon that passed nearby. Others think the placement, at the root of a dead tree, in a yard where so much else would soon go wrong, is too deliberate to dismiss entirely. That changed everything. Back inside the house, around the same period, she captures something harder to rationalize. The dog, Luna, is already alert, running down the hallway toward a set of closed double doors. Watch.
Luna, come on.
The sleigh bells hanging from the doorknobs are shaking violently and ringing loud and fast, with nothing visible touching them. No draft, no person, nothing in contact with the doors. Luna runs straight toward them, which is the detail that gets me. Dogs typically flee from things that startle them, not charge toward them, which some viewers interpret as Luna trying to confront whatever's on the other side. The bells stop almost the instant the front door opens. That abrupt silence is almost more unsettling than the ringing itself. A few days later, with a friend or family member visiting, things escalate inside the kitchen. The two women are talking casually, one of them chatting to a cat sitting on the counter, when something interrupts the whole room. Listen closely.
Chilling here, being a kitty cat. Did you do that?
A loud bang with no visible source, and then a bundle of what looks like dry spaghetti launches upward from behind a dining chair and arcs across the room, sending the woman in purple scrambling backward and nearly out of frame. The cat flinches. The camera operator asks, "Did you do that?" And the woman says simply, "No." Short answer, no explanation. Skeptics argue a person hidden behind the chair could have thrown it, but the trajectory, up and outward, from floor level, is difficult to account for without being caught on camera. Poltergeist activity, according to those who study it, often follows this pattern: small, disruptive, physical. Objects moved or thrown, not by a ghost in the traditional sense, but by a kind of displaced energy, sometimes associated with periods of high stress or emotional tension in a household. Whatever the cause, the activity isn't slowing down. Caught on her Nest security camera at 11:23 a.m., the footage shows her lying on the couch in pink pajamas when the entire room is rattled. Watch. A sharp, loud bang from somewhere off camera, percussive, echoing, jolts her straight up, and she runs out of the room within seconds, disappearing through a background doorway. The camera shakes with the impact. There's no visible source, no falling object in frame, nothing displaced in the room itself. She doesn't come back on screen. What's compelling about this one is that it's a security camera. She didn't choose to film this moment. It was recorded automatically, which makes staging it considerably harder to argue. The same day or around it, Luna is standing on her hind legs at the window, visibly agitated, when the woman notices the bathroom faucet is running at full blast. She turns it off and walks back to the living room. Then it happens again. Watch.
She's flipping out.
Holy crap, Mom! What happened? Wow, really feel the purpose. I'll probably feel better.
Literally just turned back on as soon as I sat down.
I don't see the force.
Oh my god. Luna.
She's barely sat down when the water turns back on by itself, audible from a different room, and she has to go shut it off a second time. Then the doorbell rings clearly, and when she checks the window and the porch, there's nobody there. Not across the street, not on the path, not near the mailbox. Luna is already at the door before she gets there. Some viewers think this cluster of events, the faucet, the bell, the dog's fixation on unseen things, points to an intelligent presence, one that's interacting with the house, rather than just haunting a specific room. Others suggest a plumbing fault for the faucet and a technical glitch for the doorbell, but the timing, back-to-back in the same clip, makes the mundane explanations feel strained. The last clip shifts the setting outdoors, at dusk, to a dirt path bordered by dark trees. Luna has already appeared in several of these clips. reacting before her owner does, and in this one, that pattern reaches its most extreme point. The woman is walking Luna on the leash through what looks like an open field at the edge of the tree line when Luna stops cold, locks her gaze on something ahead in the darkness, and refuses to move. Watch.
Luna. 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 What? Go home. Luna, go home. Come on. No, 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 no. Luna, come on. Stop.
After a long, still moment of staring into the dark, Luna bolts forward with enough force to pull the leash completely out of the woman's hand and runs into the field. The woman calls her back urgently. Luna, go home. No, no. But Luna stays out in the dark, circling at a distance, occasionally stopping to look back toward the tree line, as though tracking something. What dogs detect that cameras can't is the part of this footage that sits with you, whether it's a scent, a sound outside human range, or something else entirely. Luna's behavior across all of these clips, the bells, the window, the porch, the field, follows the same shape. She knows something is there before her owner does, and whatever it is, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. The following video was recorded around 2:40 a.m. when a man wakes up alone in his dark bedroom and quickly notices something's wrong. The cupboard door across the room is open, and the light he always leaves on as a warning has gone out. He explains this quietly, in a hushed and clearly frightened voice, saying he covers that light while he sleeps so the glare doesn't hit his eyes, but he keeps it on specifically so he knows when what he calls the haunting hour has begun. Tonight, it's off, and that alone tells him something has already started. He keeps the camera trained on the dark doorway at the far end of the room, barely moving, barely breathing. Watch.
Where's the cupboard open? The lights are off. You see, I normally keep that light on because that's how I get to know the haunting has begun or not. And that's why I've actually covered the lights so that it doesn't glare on my eyes while I'm sleeping. The cupboard is open right now. I'm alone in the room. It's at the door. Stop it! Stop it, please!
Daddy?
yourself, Jerry. Go fuck yourself. Shit. I'm not gonna stay here.
What starts as an uneasy silence erupts into something far more aggressive. Loud, metallic banging striking the door repeatedly, then a door handle rattling with violent force. The kind of sound that doesn't leave much room for a rational explanation. He shouts at it to stop, pleads with it, and then for just a few seconds, it does. The silence that follows is almost worse than the noise, and then a child's voice comes out of the dark, soft, clear, and completely disembodied, saying, "Daddy?" He doesn't hesitate. He screams back at it, calling it Jerry by name, which means this isn't the first time something has spoken to him like this. A loud crash follows immediately, as if whatever is in there responded to being called out. He scrambles out of bed and runs down the hallway toward the front door, not stopping once. Many believe mimicry is one of the most disturbing tools a negative presence can use, borrowing a voice that bypasses logic and hits somewhere much deeper. So what exactly is Jerry, and why does it know what to say? Now in this next clip, a woman who works in an emergency room starts noticing something she can't explain during one of her overnight shifts. A vital signs monitor in an empty room keeps powering on by itself and displaying readings that, according to every rule of how that equipment works, simply shouldn't be possible. She'd already reset the monitor, turned it off, confirmed no patients were assigned to it. Watch.
So there's nobody in this room. The leads are against the wall. And that's what it's reading.
The monitor is showing a heart rate, 56 beats per minute at first, then slowly climbing, then dropping down into the 40s before the leads off alarm triggers. She pans the camera down to show you the leads hanging loose against the wall, not attached to anything. "There's nobody in this room," she says. "The leads are against the wall, and that's what it's reading." Some believe hospitals hold residual energy from patients who passed there, something that imprints on the equipment itself. Others aren't so sure. What exactly was that monitor picking up? The following video was recorded by a man who had recently moved into an old house built back in 1912, a property with enough history behind it to already make him uneasy before anything strange even started happening. According to him, the previous tenant had suddenly left without much explanation, and after settling in, he began experiencing odd disturbances throughout the house that pushed him into researching the property's past. During a late-night spirit box session, one word reportedly kept coming through over and over again: fire. After digging deeper, he discovered that the basement of the house had been the site of an accidental fire sometime around 1965, a detail that suddenly made the atmosphere in the home feel a lot heavier. Then one night, while standing in a lit room looking down a dark hallway, he caught this on camera. Watch.
Look, it's my hand.
At the far end of the hallway, a guitar begins to sway on its own, slowly at first, before the movement starts growing stronger. Skeptics pointed toward possible drafts or airflow as the most logical explanation. But what unsettled viewers was how the motion seemed to build, almost like something unseen kept interacting with it. Paranormal theories surrounding old homes often connect fires to lingering energy, especially when the event was sudden or traumatic. Some believe places marked by tragedy can hold on to fragments of that moment for decades, replaying themselves through unexplained sounds, movement, or disturbances tied to certain parts of the house. And considering the repeated mention of fire during the spirit box session, many viewers think whatever is in that hallway may be connected to what happened in the basement all those years ago. Whatever started the movement, he never found the source. In this next clip, someone is walking through a property called the Green Manor, an old house with narrow winding staircases, dark reddish walls, a library with built-in shelves, and an upstairs room lined with antique dolls. And from the moment they point the camera at a teal wooden door in the hallway, something feels off. The door is slightly ajar, and the vintage oval doorknob on its brass backplate just sits there, still and quiet, the way doorknobs are supposed to. But then it starts to move. Watch. The knob jiggles, turns clockwise, and a sharp metallic click rings out as the latch fully disengages and the door swings open on its own. Nobody's on the other side. The person filming then pushes through, climbs the creaking staircase, and when they reach the top, they pan into a side room where a full church pew is lined end to end with at least a dozen porcelain dolls just sitting there, staring. Some people who've seen this footage think the doorknob moment is consistent with what's sometimes called a residual haunting, the idea that a location can essentially record repeated actions, like opening a door, and replay them without any conscious intent behind them. Others think something at the Green Manor is far more aware than that, pointing to the way the latch fully releases, a deliberate mechanical sequence, not just a rattle. Whether it's residual energy or something with intention, you be the judge. In this next clip, a family arrives at what looks like a spacious hotel suite. A large, well-lit room with high vaulted ceilings, a stone fireplace, a loft area, and a balcony with plenty of natural light coming through. Nothing about the space looks threatening, but the moment they reach the doorway of room 24, something happens that none of them were prepared for. Watch.
Come on, Mama!
Oh, she don't like this room. Wasn't expecting that. Dang, Big Mama. Is there something in here? We rebuke it, Kai Kai. We rebuke it. She said, Yeah. Yeah. It's shit on the toilet.
That's where you and Dad sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
There's nothing.
What?
Close it. I'll pull out bed. This is so nice.
You welcome. I hope y'all like it. I hope y'all got some energy because we're gonna be up all night.
She immediately starts screaming, "No," crying loudly, and pulling away from the room, and she doesn't stop for the entire clip. What makes this so hard to dismiss is that the girl didn't calm down. There's a belief, fairly common in paranormal communities, that young children, especially toddlers, are far more sensitive to presence than adults because they haven't yet learned to rationalize away what they're feeling. You decide what that little girl was sensing at that doorway. Now in this next clip, a man is out in his shed during the day working on tools when he notices something that stops him cold. A sound coming from a dark attic space above a storage closet he says he's never once been up into. He grabs his phone and starts filming himself, panning the camera around the cluttered shed before pulling open a narrow closet door to show what's inside. Listen closely.
Me or not, I don't care, but listen to this. I'm out in the shed working on tools. Listen. Dude, I swear to God, there's something up in this attic, man. I'm not getting up in here and shit. Do you hear that? Dude, oh my God, bro. Oh my God, man. There's something in this neighborhood, dude. Oh my God. Dude, I don't know what to do in a situation like this. Do you hear this shit, man? This thing was built before I bought this house, man. I've never gone up here one time. What the fuck was that, man? There's stuff left from the previous owner. Oh my God, dude. Oh.
If you listen closely, you'll hear a baby crying, and it happens not once but multiple times, getting clearer and closer each time. The man's reactions are hard to fake. He slams the door, shouts, opens it again, keeps asking if you can hear it too. Then, when he finally works up the nerve to climb the ladder and hold the camera up into that dark space, the last sound he catches, right before the camera drops, is a clean, unmistakable cry of a baby coming from somewhere deep in that darkness. Some viewers think he has squatters in there, which, honestly, isn't impossible. Whatever was up there, he didn't stick around long enough to find out. So what do you think was making that sound? Now in this next clip, a paranormal investigator from Lakeshore Paranormal is in the basement of an old property at night, standing beneath a single bare bulb that cuts harsh shadows across the cinder block walls and exposed ceiling joists. He's got a spirit box scanning in one hand and what appears to be a detection device in the other, the constant static of the scanner cycling through frequencies filling the silence around him. He glances around the space, listening, waiting. Watch.
Not gonna leave until you give me a sign.
movement back there. Shadow. Shadow like came out from the where the heater is and went back the other way. I got it on video. You can see it. It was short. It was just like a shadow that came out from there.
Are you down here?
A shadow moved from right to left. What immediately sparked debate online was the way the figure seemed to move with shape and direction, not like a flicker of light or camera distortion, but like something physically crossing. Some viewers argued it could simply be a reflection caused by someone walking past a nearby window, but according to the investigators, they were completely alone on the property that night, with no one else inside or outside the building during the investigation. So if no one else was on that property that night, then what exactly walked behind him? Now, in this next clip, someone is moving through a pitch-black house in the middle of the night, using nothing but a flashlight to cut through the darkness ahead of him. According to him, before he even started recording, he had already been hearing strange noises somewhere deeper inside the house, sounds unusual enough that he decided to grab his camera and trace where they were coming from. At first, he expected to find something simple, maybe a window left open, or an animal moving around inside the walls. But instead, he found this. Watch.
Right. Second date. It's been okay so far, but... What? This is what I mean. Crazy shit. Is it like... Hello? Oh my Oh shit. Phone's upstairs. Oh my I'm leaving lights on. Look at this. I swear to right. Oh shit. Right. I need to go.
The lights suddenly begin flickering violently, throwing unstable flashes across the hallway, and just as he turns toward the staircase, something can be seen moving on the stairs, a dark shape shifting in the shadows before disappearing again. Some viewers believe the flickering lights could point toward electrical issues in an older property, but others focused entirely on the figure near the staircase, especially because in many old traditions, spirits or entities were said to linger near staircases because they symbolized movement between worlds, especially in darkened homes where visibility is limited and the human mind struggles to fully process shapes in shadow. So what do you think was waiting at the top of those stairs? The following video was recorded inside a home that's over 100 years old, using an old camera set up by a young man who was home alone and had noticed something he couldn't explain. Every time he left the room to vacuum, he'd come back and find the same bifold closet door standing wide open. No one else in the house, no obvious draft, nothing to account for it. So instead of just closing it again and moving on, he propped the camera on the floor, pointed it at the door, and went back to his vacuuming. The clip is silent, and that silence is part of what makes it so unsettling. Watch. The right panel of that bifold door begins to move, slowly, steadily, swinging open at a pace that feels almost deliberate, folding back until the closet is fully exposed. No one enters the frame. There's no rush of air, no person, no visible string or mechanism. If you watch the door's movement carefully, you'll notice it doesn't jerk or stutter the way a draft might cause. It moves with a kind of even, unhurried intention that's harder to dismiss. Some viewers familiar with residual haunting theory think older homes can develop patterns of repeated activity tied to whatever energy accumulated there over decades. But you be the judge. Now in this next clip, a man had been sitting alone at his kitchen table, reading from the Bible, not casually, but deliberately, the way someone does when they're trying to hold something back. He had a rosary laid out in front of him, a crucifix, and a small bottle of holy water. He says he picks up regularly from his local Catholic church. He mentions to the camera that he isn't feeling well, and before he starts reading, he anoints his forehead with the holy water and makes the sign of the cross. There's a weight to how he's going through these steps. Like a ritual, he's performed enough times that it's become routine rather than ceremonial. He settles in and begins reading aloud from Psalms 37, verses 3 through 11. Scripture about trust, about dwelling safely, about what faith is supposed to protect you from. But midway through the reading, something happened. Watch.
Inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked should be no more. Indeed, you will. Gosh! Holy. Bro. That just closed. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Any demon in my office, evacuate now. Look. That's my magic hat. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And my attic is closed. See? Huh. And it literally dropped my hat. That is crazy. You see, guys, this is what I gotta go through daily. Like literally, daily I gotta go through this crap. I'm so fed up with it.
The door in the background slams shut with a sharp, violent bang. What's harder to dismiss is what he finds on the other side. A baseball cap lying face down on the floor just inside the doorway, which he claims was not there before. He picks it up, shows the camera the front, and says the entity dropped it. He calls his attic door out specifically, showing it secured with multiple slide locks, as if that detail is meant to explain something he doesn't want to say out loud. He ends the clip looking straight into the camera, exhausted, and says this is what he goes through daily. For those familiar with spiritual warfare theology, a violent physical reaction during scripture reading is considered significant. It's interpreted not as random haunting activity, but as direct interference, a presence responding to being named. So what was in that room with him? The following video was recorded at around 11 p.m. when a young man is alone inside a building and begins hearing something he can't explain. Loud, violent banging echoing from somewhere in the basement below him. According to him, this isn't the first time. It's already happened 3 times that night, and by now, whatever is making the noise has clearly gotten under his skin. Watch.
Bueno, ya son como las 11 de la noche y la tercera vez que estoy escuchando este ruido de mierda. No sé qué está pasando, pero lo quiero grabar ahora para que después me crea la gente, porque esto nunca me pasó y nada, lo quería grabar, qué sé yo, estoy podrido, la concha de la lora. Digo, mi linterna, no sé para qué mierda la traje. Dios. Puta que te parió. La puta que te parió. Concha de la lora. La concha de la lora. Pero como mierda puede ser que no haya nada hoy. Ya es la tercera vez. Tercera vez que entro y no hay nada. Dios. Me quiero ir. Me quiero ir.
What you're hearing isn't subtle. Those are powerful metallic slams reverberating through a large, empty concrete space, the kind of sound that doesn't come from a building settling or pipes expanding. He moves through the basement with support pillars and wooden furniture, pushes into a narrow locker room area with benches and jackets on hooks, and finds absolutely nothing. No one, no movement. The banging had been relentless on his way down, growing louder and more rhythmic the closer he got. And then, the moment he's inside the room where it seemed to be coming from, it stops. He checks under the benches, pans the camera across every corner, and keeps repeating the same thing. This is the third time he's come down here and found nothing. He says he wants to leave. Some viewers think the sounds point towards something intelligent, something reacting to his presence. The way the banging intensifies as he descends and cuts out the second he arrives suggests awareness, not random noise. Skeptics argue an accomplice somewhere in the building could account for it, though no one else is ever seen or heard. But if you listen to how that sound carries through the space, it's hard to picture where exactly someone would be hiding. So where did it come from? In this next clip, Nicole is a teenage vlogger who's been documenting something she once thought was a gift, her ability to communicate with spirits, until that ability put her directly in the path of something far more dangerous. She'd been uploading footage of her paranormal experiences under the online alias Banshee 0094, barely anyone in her town even knowing she was still alive, when a cult found her through those videos, took her, and left her on the side of the road to die. Now she's back, trying to move on, when the activity starts again, this time inside her own bedroom. Watch.
Did you guys hear that? Is he anything? Shit! Right, no. I'm not doing this shit. Go back to bed. Go back to bed. Back to bed. Back to bed. Back to bed. You hear me? I'm not going outside. I am not going outside. I do not need this shit. Okay. Okay. I know. I am outside. I'm trying to be extra quiet. He's all shh. Okay. I'll be quiet because I know I shouldn't go inside. I said I was going inside, but I have to go inside because like, what the fuck was I saying?
If you look closely, something appears to pass directly across the window outside her room. At first, it could easily be mistaken for a person walking past the house, a shadow, or even something created by the movement of the camera and the darkness outside. Then comes the scream. It's high-pitched, prolonged, and disturbingly human-sounding, which is exactly why viewers immediately began comparing it to a banshee. In Irish and Scottish folklore, a banshee is traditionally described as a supernatural female spirit whose terrifying cry is believed to warn that someone is about to die. The frightening part of the legend isn't necessarily that the banshee attacks anyone. It's the idea that hearing it scream is itself a warning. A sound that supposedly arrives before tragedy. And that's what makes this clip particularly unsettling. But the footage becomes even more disturbing. Watch.
What is that? What is that? Okay, run.
If it really is the same person or figure, there's an obvious explanation. Someone could simply have been outside the house. But if Nicole's account is accurate, and she genuinely believed she was alone, the sequence becomes much harder to shake. So the most frightening question isn't what was that scream. It's who or what was waiting outside her window. Now in this next clip, a man is sitting in front of his computer late at night, replaying security footage from his own driveway. And what he's trying to wrap his head around isn't a shadow or a figure in the dark, but something arguably stranger. The timestamp on the footage reads 10:09 p.m. on the 28th of April of 2024, and it shows an ordinary-looking man in a dark jacket walking down the driveway near a vintage black Volkswagen Beetle, stopping, gesturing, and appearing to give directions to someone just off camera, completely unremarkable on its own. Watch.
Güey, te juro por Dios, güey. Te lo juro por Dios que un señor me preguntó que dónde era la pinera.
No digas mamadas.
Te lo juro por Dios, güey. Un señor se me acercó y me preguntó, oiga, disculpe, ¿dónde es la pinera? Y por eso le explico, le digo que tenía que cruzar y darle más para abajo, güey, te lo juro. Te lo juro, güey, no mames.
Here's where it gets hard to explain. The man reviewing this footage insists, swearing on it repeatedly, visibly shaken, that man had approached him and asked him for directions to La Pinera. He gave him directions, that's it. Except the encounter was already on his security camera, and we can't see him talking to anyone. Some viewers immediately called it a glitch in the Matrix, that unsettling feeling that reality briefly repeated itself or crossed its own timeline. What do you think? Now in this next clip, someone is alone at night, filming inside what looks like an old cabin or shed, the kind of place that already feels wrong before the camera even settles on anything. The walls are dark, weathered logs, the paint on the door is peeling and stained, and the only light comes from the phone in their hand. The room is completely still, with nothing but darkness beyond the narrow beam of light, and then the camera catches something above the doorframe. Watch.
Bro, I just missed it moving again, bro. Literally. I'm not stopping recording until I get it moving on camera, bro. Look at that, bro. You see it? You see it? That bitch is moving, gang, by itself. I'm gonna try and get it one more time, yo. Bro, look at that shit, gang. Yeah, I probably gotta get rid of this little nigga for real. I got that shit on camera though, gang. I'm not tripping.
For nearly 3 minutes, the strange creature keeps hitting the door. Paranormal viewers would likely interpret the scene very differently, especially because the activity appears to be concentrated around a doorway. In paranormal folklore, doorways are often treated as symbolic thresholds between spaces, and unexplained activity around them is sometimes interpreted as something attempting to enter or make its presence known. Whether that's what is happening here is impossible to establish from the footage alone. But watching that door repeatedly take hits while the person filming stands there, unable to see what's on the other side, creates one terrifying thought. This next clip was recorded inside a man's living room in the middle of the day. Natural light coming through the window, blue sofa in the background, everything ordinary about the setting, except for one small black object sitting on the wood floor near his coffee table. He'd apparently missed it moving before the recording started, and he was determined not to miss it again. So he held the shot. Watch.
The fuck? Dude, just heard a huge fucking crash. Is anyone down there? Hello? Hey, who's fucking down there? Seriously, if you throw anything at me this time, I'm gonna f you up. Man? You're a fucking coward! What do you fucking want? Just fuck! Shit! Fuck! Hey, let me out! Let me out! Fuck! Let me out of here!
No foot, no string, no air vent, blowing directly underneath it. Skeptics think that's the most obvious explanation. Either the device's battery is still partially charged and activating on a timer, or someone off camera has a remote. But he insists there's no pet, no remote, nothing driving it. So what do you think it is? This next clip was recorded by a man investigating strange sounds inside what appears to be a multi-level home, alone, at night, with nothing but his phone's camera light cutting through the dark. Something had already spooked him badly enough that he was out of breath before he even opened the first door. He makes his way down a carpeted staircase, calls out into the basement below, gets no answer, and pushes deeper into the space anyway, into a furnished lower level, bare white walls, couch, armchair, the kind of quiet that makes every small sound feel wrong. And then something happens that stops him cold. Watch. The creaking of the old wooden steps, his labored breathing, the rough stone walls closing in around him, and then, at the worst possible moment, the trapdoor above him slams shut, hard. He panics immediately, yelling and hammering on the underside of the door, the camera lurching wildly in the dark. If you listen to the slam itself, there's no creak, no slow movement. It falls in one sudden, definitive thud, the way a door moves when something forces it rather than lets it drift. Some viewers believe this was never about a haunting at all, but a physical intruder using the space, which, honestly, makes it even more disturbing. Others think whatever is in that house wanted him down there, because whatever was in that cellar with him, it knew exactly when to close the door. In the following clip, a woman was sharing a terrifying experience of how she once heard something growl close to her ear. But what was supposed to be a simple story time recording quickly turned into something much worse. Thankfully, she was still recording when it happened. Have a look.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. I just came down from getting a shower and I'm cleaning my kitchen. I'm getting ready to go to bed. And I swear it sounded like something growled in my ear. I know that sounds insane, and it's not like normal, but I've never experienced that before. It was insane. My basement door's open. This was not opened when I came down. Oh, crap. Hello?
Now, a growling noise isn't taken lightly. Many believe it's a sign of a hostile spirit, or even a demonic presence marking its territory, warning the living to stay away. Others speculate it could mean a spirit is trying to build fear before making its presence stronger. But whatever it was, it seemed to be waiting for the right moment to make itself known, so when she was most vulnerable, it struck again. A few days later, while she was home alone, she caught this on camera.
So I was upstairs and I heard this loud screeching noise and a loud noise. What the? I heard a loud screeching noise and a loud bang.
This time, it wasn't just the chair that moved. There were also distinct knocking sounds at the end. Now here's where the story takes a terrifying turn. After this recording, she began waking up at exactly 3:15 a.m. every night, the so-called witching hour, with the same sensation that someone was standing at the edge of her bed, watching her. And other times, she claimed to hear the growl again, but this time, it was right outside her bedroom door. Whatever is in her house seems to be growing stronger, bolder, and more dangerous. For more hunting videos, subscribe to the channel now.